Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the tier 10 Russian tank destroyer, the Object 268 version 5. Now this is a tank that actually hasn't featured on the channel yet, I don't think, and that's quite surprising in general, but it's a tank that I didn't really play all that much. I earned it and was like, yeah, this tank's really good, and then just never actually played it. Because it's I don't know, it's just not really a tank that interests me too much. It's sort of one of those tanks that I sort of play and I go, yeah, it's really good, and then just sort of put down and go and play my Fortress more often because reasons, powerful reasons that I don't understand myself. But yeah, this tank is a really good tank. The penetration on it, the standard pen, 303, is just unbelievable. You just pen everything you want to pen, you pen it. The 390 odd pen on the heat rounds as well is just stupid. And the 850 alpha on it's really nice with the reload. The reload is also really good. And with 6.0, the gun handling on it is really good as well. And it just makes for a generally all-round pretty decent tank as well. The fact that it goes at like 48 kilometers an hour. Mobility terms, this tank is fantastic. You can get to wherever you need to be. It means you can be extremely aggressive a lot of the time and get to aggressive positions and push out damage quite quickly and quite early on. The one thing it doesn't have is armour. It doesn't have armour. It's got sort of about 250 on the front of the turret, but do you believe it? No, because it tends to get penned all the time. It's the same chassis as a T10, so it's got the same armour as a T10 on the actual hull, and the turret has 250mm next to the gun, but it's not very well angled. It's got a cupola which is incredibly easy to pen and is quite big. And yeah, so you don't really ever want to rely on the armour of this tank. I mean, you can side scrape in it because it's Russian spaced armour, you know, it's T10. But, like I say, you don't really want to rely on it. Now, we're on Prokhorovka, and it's possibly not the best map for the tank because, well, in terms of how we're playing it right now, we're brawling on a ridgeline. We only have 5 degrees of gun depression, which is another sort of downside to the tank, but it's very similar to the E4 in that. It's the Russian E4, pretty much. And instead of the armour that the E4 gets and the troll armour at that, because the E4 has good armour, but it's not brilliant, but it can bounce quite a lot. And you can ricochet shells if you keep yourself moving. This tank, yeah, you won't ricochet shells, but you trade out the armour for the gun handling, for the DPM. Well, I say the DPM. I think the DPM is relatively similar for the, for the gun handling and for the really good mobility. So right here, we're going to make a mistake. We push up on this ridgeline. We're getting frustrated with 5 degrees of gun depression. I'm going to try and make sure I get a shot into the E4. Unfortunately, I bounce on the E4, which is the armour that I was talking about. Even 303mm of pen can ricochet off of it. And then we lost pretty much all of our health because we got a bit frustrated with the gun depression and pushed over to try and take a shot that we just wasn't on, generally, for us in this position. So now we've got to be a bit more careful because we have no hit points. I mean, 471 is enough to bounce, well, not enough to bounce, enough to absorb shots from people like the Super Conqueror, a lot of the heavies with 400 alpha, but we know there's a 268 version 5 there, there's a Jagdpanzer back there, we know that from the team listings, there's the E4 that we bounced on too, so they can all finish us off in one shot. So we just got to play it careful. We've got to pick our shots, pick our times to go sit on the ridgeline and pop shots in. So obviously you've seen that we got a nice shot into the 268 version 5, and we're just waiting for possibly anything to get spotted up, but we're back up. The shells flying from back there, we saw the shells, the Ariete gets spotted up, we put one into him, and he gets shut down. And there's one thing with Prokhorovka, and especially since they sort of changed the shell tracers a bit, and that is that you can basically just look for shell tracers. Now, did you see that one? There's another shell tracer that flew from the back. Somehow that light tank didn't spot it, but there's something on top of that hill, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time trying to see it. He saw it again, look, and I'm trying to find it, like we did with the Ariete, because we saw the shell tracer. We knew relatively where it was, so we were looking that way, and just as we started to aim up, the Ariete got spotted. But like I said, there is something else back in that position, because we've been seeing the shell tracers fly, and I think it's always quite funny, to be fair, when you blind fire someone that's unspotted and they think, oh, I'm unspotted, I'm not going to get shot. And then they do. They're like, what? Wait, how? So, you see, I'm just waiting to see for shell traces. I'm waiting for something to fire from back there. I'm thinking it could be a TD, it could be a light tank, or it could be, well, we know where the light tank is, it's spotted. It could be a medium tank. It's got to be something with good camo, and I'm trying to work out what it could be. It could be something with good camo because the light tank got up to that bush near enough and didn't see it. So we're just trying to see if we can see it and pop blind shots, because you never know, if you hit it you're going to do some good damage blind, and that's always nice, and you might scare it away from that position, because whatever it is that's up there is also kind of a threat to me, because if I, oh, what is that RU done? Oh dear, are you? Oh dear. Oh, should we not talk about that, RU? I don't think we should talk about that. So let's talk about the thing that could be back there. Poor RU. He's been learning from me. Good lord. So yeah, anyway, what that was saying, it's a danger, right? Because if I get spotted up here, the thing that's up there could shoot me. And I don't really have that many hit points. And obviously I'm concerned about this in the back of my mind, so I'm just watching it. Because otherwise I would push a little bit more aggressively to try and get shots into these guys on this ridgeline. And I would also stick about a little bit longer. See, we can't quite get a shot at the Carnarvon. We get detected, so it's like, no, okay, I'm pulling back. Because that's one thing I'll always say. And it's the reason you want Sixth Sense as well. With Sixth Sense, the instant you get spotted, it tells you. Whereas detected is 3 seconds after they start looking at you, pretty much. Or it's as soon as they start looking at you anyway. Which by that point, when a tank started looking at you and that detected signal pops off, it's generally too late and they will shoot you. So Sixth Sense is always useful for that reason, that you want to be taking it so that you know when you're spotted, because you, like I say, you can be running across the open spotted, but nobody looks at you, so you don't actually know you're spotted if you didn't have Sixth Sense. And it's always a nice piece of information to know, because then you think, well, people saw me going into the position because I was spotted, so therefore I'll take, you know, therefore you can adjust how you play him. But with detected, it's not like that. And the one thing I'll always say, and it's something I see people do when, say, they're streaming or like just on YouTube videos or just generally, and I do it, I'm guilty of it as well, to be fair, and that is when the detected signal goes off, I sit still, or they sit still, they'll stay there, and it's like detector's gone off, you're going to get shot, and then they lose health to it. And there's the tank that must have been at the back. It was the T-77. It was AP shells we've seen, so maybe it wasn't the T-77, it must have been something. But yeah, anyway, so detected is one of those things, as soon as it goes off and it goes boop, boop, you just pull back, get back. As soon as you hear it, go. Unless you know that the tank you are looking at, or, you know, the tank spotted that you're looking at, just get back behind a ridge line, don't take the hit, because obviously sometimes you need those hit points, and it's always something you need. But anyway, we finished that game with 3 kills, 5.7k damage, 2.3k assistance, ace tanker, brothers in arms with Swindle, who I think was in his E4 at that point as well. Yeah, he was in the E4, he did 6.8k damage as well. And we did 1481 base XP in this tank as well. Yeah, I mean, this tank's really nice, generally. I really just like the mobility, the gun, everything about it is just really nice. And it means that, like I say, you can push aggressive positions. You can get the early shots out that maybe something like the E4 wouldn't be able to do. Because I'd get there way before an E4. But obviously, with that trade-off, is the armour. The E4 might be able to bounce more shots than I can. You know, so they actually end up being able to do less. We'll get that right. They'll be able to do more damage because they take less, for instance. So we're on the second game, and we're on Cliff. Or is it Arctic Region? It's Arctic Region. No, it's Cliff. It's really Cliff. I know it's Cliff. Okay. So we're on Cliff, and we're going to the bowl area here. We boost the food because we want to get the best view range we can, because we can spot people up like that. And we're just charged into position here. That E100 has got a physics moment. We get a nice shot straight through his engine deck. And normally I would think, you know what, I'm going to go up and get shots at all these guys that have just got spotted on the 6th line. But actually, I've got HE in and I want the meme. I want the meme on this waffle. But unfortunately, we hit a rock somewhere the magic rock that takes the shell, which means that it gets absorbed, and that is one thing I actually run on the 268 version 5, and you're seeing it right here. Oh, that one missed as well, straight between the gun shield and the chassis. Oh my goodness, this waffle's getting lucky. How have we not hit this guy with HE? This happens to me so often when I load HE, it's really annoying. But we managed to shut down the guy eventually. But that is one thing I do actually run on this tank anyway, like I say, and that is the advanced reload, is it? Yeah, I think it's the advanced reload, or whatever that equipment is that lets you reload your shell, whatever shell you want, without actually having to reload. So right now, like, I'm firing AP, and on that Waffle Panzer IV, I just automatically switch to HE without having to reload my shells whatsoever. And it's a really useful tool on a tank like the 268 version 5, where you've got 1100 damage on the HE. Because you can shoot things like waffles, you'll come against a lot of tanks that are, you know, fairly, well, to say fairly, not that well armoured, and you can pen them with the HE, you do 1100 damage. That is a big amount of damage to slap someone for, and it's always really satisfying to just switch to the HE dead quick and blast them with it, and you just do a massive amount of damage. It's just so satisfying. And for a tank like this, and probably the E4 as well, it's a very nice tool to have. So, we managed to shut down the E100 there. We took a hit from the back. And now that I didn't spot the thing that shot me from the back, I decided, you know what, I can't sit there now, because there's a Jagdpanzer back there that we weren't spotting. I'm going to get spotted by the thing in the bushes. We're not doing that. Look at the amount of enemy tanks up here. We've got to get here and try and help our guys on the other flank, because otherwise they're going to really suffer. So we get a shot into the back of the Death Star, because I kind of want to get rid of the Death Star, because it's Death Star. Death Star can really hurt someone. So if we get rid of that guy, especially, like I say, if he turns around as well, it's quite bad for us, and he has turned around, and we get a nice shot through his upper plate, and we set him on fire, and he gets shut down. Now we've got the CS63 with us as well, which is nice, because he's obviously putting his good gun and his good DPM to use. He's pummeling them all while I pop up, give them a big slap, and then he can finish them off. So we get a nice shot through the side of that Conqueror. The shell went really quite wild on that guy then, and we were very lucky that it didn't hit his turret. And we're just looking for more shots at them. The Conqueror is turned around to face us, so I want to get rid of him. It flies in true, straight in. That's what I'm on about with the good gun handling at times with this tank as well now. Well, I say now, with 6.0, is that you will hit shots pretty reliably with it, which is nice. But now those guys have got on that flank, we want to try and get more shots at like this T95 and this light tank. And we can get that from this little position up here. We can't quite see the Leopard. I've got all the hit points in the world, so I'm thinking, you know what, I'm just going to pop over and slap a shot into this WZ-111QL. Now we get a nice shot straight through the upper plate. The CS63 is actually keeping this guy perma-tracked so that he won't move, because he knows that I'm here and I've got 750 alpha, or 850 alpha, sorry, and I'm going to keep slapping him. So I'm feeding this guy assistance by just shooting him, and obviously he's keeping him pinned, so he's not going to move, and that means that we could take most of that guy's health. I knew I could pop up on top of this ridgeline and take any shells from back there because we have the hit points. So I was quite confidently popping up in these bushes. You obviously saw as well when we popped up to shoot the QL that he couldn't actually see us in the bushes because he's got decent concealment for a TD, you know. So that was alright. But now their team is dead. There's two artillery. It's not artillery, it's light tanks. There's two light tanks. The two things that go to kill artillery half the time. And one just gets shut down. The other one's in the corner. The CS63 with his gas turbines charging in and shuts him down. But we finished that game with a really nice total for the 268 version 5. It really showed the capabilities of the tank with pushing aggressively into a position and just how hard it slaps. And we finished with 5 kills, 7.5k damage, 2.5k assistance, ace tanker, high caliber, 1713 base XP, and that was 10k combined, which is really nice for the 268 version 5. It's a really good tank. It's just damn good, and it's well worth playing. Most people earned it, so that's the way it is. So, as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success!